Welcome to the fifth episode of United Talk. We got lots of stuff to talk about in this episode. Disappointing game at Norwich, another poor result at Galatasaray. Plus, we've got a special feature and a rather special player salute as well. So let's start off with the Norwich game.
Hey guys, as everyone knows, we went down to a defeat at Norwich, 1-0 away from home, and I thought it was a very poor performance of United, uncharacteristic for us away from home this season. I thought we performed well at Chelsea, and disappointing against Norwich. They're a really good team at home. They've already beaten Arsenal and Spurs, so definitely weren't underestimating them, and they kept a clean sheet again, and the defense has been working very well. I think Basong in particular has impressed since his move there. What did you make of the game?
Disappointing in a sense, but if you look at Norwich, they're unbeaten in their last 7,
Yeah.
including that wins against Arsenal and Spurs in the Cup as well.
Yeah.
And United nowhere near their best, a distinctly average performance,
Yeah.
which was capped off with, several incomplete crosses,
Yeah.
passes that were intercepted,
Yeah.
no real clear-cut chances that you'd expect.
Yeah, but it was disjointed. I think that's the word.
Disjointed is a good way to describe it. And Norwich, credit to them, took their chance when they got it and defended very solidly.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great header by Pilkington,
Yeah, it
who's
was
a former Manchester United trainee, by the way.
Pardon?
Great header, looped over Lindegaard,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, I'm just a bit frustrated with the Valencia at the moment. He's one of our best players, and usually he's so consistent. But the way he's playing, like I remember,
recently hit a bad patch of form.
Yeah, he slows down to 1 mile per hour, and then he tries to beat his opponent, and it just doesn't work. He's not able to create space for the cross. He's not a great crosser of the ball, like for example someone like Beckham or something. So he needs to create a good amount of space so he can cross the ball accurately. And he's not able to do that, and he just ends up firing the ball across the box, which works sometimes, but it's the last
more
couple of
often
games,
than not. Yeah, and the thing about Valencia, he's more of a one-trick pony, and I think defenders have now started to grasp at how to deal with him.
Yeah, no, I mean last season as well, you could say, okay, he still had the same trick last season, but he was always running at full pace at them from the very start, but now he seems to be starting slowly and then trying to beat them at such a slow speed, and it doesn't work. Cause he's got good acceleration, but he needs much more than that if he's gonna create space for the cross. And I thought we missed Kagawa as well. Like the last few weeks, we haven't really talked about him, and that shows that we have good strength and depth in the squad. But I think against Norway,
now it's starting to tell, and he's out for another month as well. So.
Yeah, and he could have really helped keep the ball, keep possession. He's very neat and tidy, and he can create space. As that intelligence, and we missed Rooney, of course, so that was a big loss for us as well.
Yeah, but Rooney's been declared fit though, so hopefully we should see him this week against QPR.
Yeah.
All right then, top 3 players for the Norwich game. I know it's so difficult to pick top 3, so let's just pick out one standout player.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Who do you say impressed you?
I'd say Chris Smalling. I mean, in a distinctly average performance by United, with all the players nowhere near their top form, I think Chris Smalling has definitely stood out.
Yeah.
I think he was very solid, and he was not at fault for the goal as well.
Yeah.
And I think, aside from general small errors, I don't think he made any big mistakes.
Yeah,
so,
I have to agree with you there. I mean, generally, I thought maybe when Ashley Young moved on to the right flank, he looked a bit of a threat.
Yes, he did. Got some crosses in.
Getting some crosses in. So maybe that's something we can explore. But I agree with you. There are not many standard performers at all in that game.
We've got too many wingers in the right winger position. We've got Valencia and Nani and now Young all excelling in that area.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that leaves the left very depleted.
True. And of course, moving on, we had another match in midweek against Galatasaray in the Champions League away from home. What did you make of that match?
Yet another loss, second in a row now.
Yeah.
And although this game had no meaning, seeing as United have already locked up first place in the group.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, United have a winning culture, and as such, we want to win every game we play.
Yeah.
So to lose this game was, I'd say, demoralizing.
Yeah.
But several young players in the team, and among them, I particularly like the way Nick Powell played.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about him in a bit. But yes, I think credit to Galatasaray. I think they were the more creative of the sides.
Yeah.
I think more attacking intent.
True.
And, it's a good experience for the lads,
Yeah.
for the young lads particularly, and these games don't mean much right now.
Yeah, but I agree, and definitely a learning experience for them. But again, I was disappointed with Danny Welbeck. I thought it was just time to
Yet another.
take some responsibility and be the leader of that team, but that's not happened. And funny incident out of the game though. Turkish journalist after the game telling Alex Ferguson, "You were disappointed in 1993, and again today you've lost in Galatasaray. Anything changed in 19 years?" And Ferguson replied, "Yes, we've won it twice."
Oh, that's it. He's got the silverware to back it up.
Yeah, it's very, very
He
witty
does.
from.
An interesting fact I noted that both the goal conceded against Norwich and the one against Galatasaray both were conceded by headers.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a worrying trend developing here.
Yeah, and
Perhaps United aren't that
keep an
aerially
eye on that
dominant.
and see what happens for the next few weeks.
Alright, so, I think top three players is a bit of an overstatement, so let's go with who you thought was a standout player for that game.
I thought Phil Jones coming back was a plus point. I wouldn't say particularly stand out, but he looked reasonably solid, and I was just really glad to see him back, and hopefully he can keep fit.
Yeah, Phil Jones coming back, it's at the right time as well. We've got lots of injuries in the centre-back department, but now that Jones is falling back,
Yeah.
it should work out pretty well. I was really impressed with Nick Powell. He was unlucky not to score, hit the bar with a great header.
Yeah.
And, generally played like a much more mature player than he is. You remember, he's 18 years old.
Yeah, true.
And I think he's settled quite well at United. And
Definitely.
I think he should be getting plenty of more appearances during the course of the season.
Yeah, he's got something in midfield that most of other midfielders don't have, which is a good shot. He's got this capability to score from range. He came on against Chelsea and tested the keeper a couple of times. So, in the League Cup, and hopefully we can see more of him. Good prospect.
Alright then, so let's move on to the rest of the league. And we had several games there, most particularly Chelsea at West Brom and then Arsenal at Spurs. So Annie, Chelsea at West Brom, what happened there?
Chelsea resting several players in that game, and Di Matteo clearly gambled his team selection with one eye on Juventus in midweek. He rested, they had Mata on the bench, they had Ivanovic on the bench, they had Oscar on the bench, and I think Di Matteo underestimated West Brom, because this is a very, very good West Brom side. And after they beat Chelsea, they're now fourth in the table.
Incredible.
They're very solid defensively. Chelsea struggled to break them down. They threw on Mata in the second half. They threw on Oscar, but to no avail. And I have to say, really impressed by West Brom, and disappointing for Chelsea.
Indeed, I think West Brom have been performing above all expectations this season. Fourth place for a side that is mid-table at best. Incredible.
Yeah.
And I think they deserve a lot of credit. And, it's a good result for them and a good result for United as well, with one of our main title rivals dropping points.
Definitely, yeah. And
of course,
what did you make of the other game over in North London, Arsenal versus Spurs, North London derby?
Whoa, from Adebayor scoring in the first 10 minutes to being sent off before the 20th minute mark, and then Arsenal turning it into a bloodbath, that game had everything.
Yeah.
It's a repeat of the result that we had earlier in the year, last season.
Yeah.
And Arsenal absolutely demolished them. That's how you make your man advantage count.
True.
With quick fire goals, Giroud scoring. He's starting to score now.
Yeah, I'm actually quite impressed with Giroud. Even in midweek against Montpellier, he got 2 assists, and he's a good presence, up front. He can hold the ball up. He brings others into play. He might not be as calm in front of goal as Arsenal fans would have hoped for, but I think he's a really good addition to the side.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of an over-exaggeration to expect him to replace Van Persie man for man.
Yeah.
But I think he does bring something to the table that Arsenal have been lacking. Physicality.
Yeah.
Along with a decent ball control for a big guy.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. The ball, he's got a good shot on him as well.
True. And the good thing I like about him is that he's got confidence, because his first few games he missed some chances, and it was like the pressure was being to tell on him, but he kept his head up. He made a few jokes about it and kept going, and now Arsenal fans are really happy with him. So
yes, the media was crucifying him, but that's the way you respond to your critics.
Exactly, and you're right about the sending off. Completely changed the game. It was just stupidity from Adebayor. And,
it was a terrible challenge.
Yeah, and credit to Arsenal though, they were ruthless. I
think that shows the immaturity that Adebayor still has.
Yep.
This is a team game, and you can't expect your team to play with them without all 11 players. It makes it so difficult for your teammates.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think he'll be reflecting on that a lot.
Yeah.
He should at least.
Well, moving on to the rest of the Champions League roundup, and of course some big clashes, and especially for English teams. City versus Madrid first off. What did you make of that game?
Well, City needed a positive result to have any hope of getting through,
Yeah,
and they did not get it. Final score was 1-1. Madrid scored first, and then City equalized with a penalty.
yeah,
But I think City they were not playing like their lives were on the line. They were not giving that 100% effort you need
true.
in the Champions League, especially in the position City are in.
Yeah,
And I think, and plus, Real Madrid played almost 20 minutes with 10 men after Arbeloa was sent off.
yeah.
Resulting in the penalty, which led to City
Yeah, and
equalizing.
I don't think that was a penalty. I don't think that was a second yellow. Man City really
Yeah,
can't
it was questionable at best.
Yeah. And
But
also, I have to comment on Cristiano Ronaldo. Incredible return to Manchester. In the first half, he was unplayable at times. Mancini going again with a 3-5-2. He had Zabaleta and Maicon on the right trying to deal with the threat of Ronaldo. And
it's almost like he isn't learning from his mistakes. I mean,
yeah.
he made pretty much the same mistake last time out when Madrid came from behind to win 3-2.
Yeah.
And he's made the same mistake this time as well. I mean,
yeah,
this
I don't
guy's
understand.
a good professional manager.
Is it just him being stubborn, or is it something the players are just not willing to adapt to? Is it them being stubborn? But it's not working for City, and now they're out of the Champions League.
I think what Mancini is trying to do is make his own stamp on the club.
Yeah.
As in to assert his power, and he's doing that by tinkering with the formation.
Yeah.
But at some point, he has to realize that enough is enough. You stick with the tried and tested formation, and especially in the Champions League, why would you try out new formations
in such
in
a
the
crunch
toughest
game?
stage of global football?
Well, also I thought in terms of City improved as the game went on, and he changed the back four, and he brought Javier Garcia on, and he tried to influence things. But in the last few minutes, he takes off Sergio Aguero and throws on James Milner when you're trying to win a game.
Yeah, that's madness.
I don't understand the substitution. I can understand it's not always a case of bringing another striker on. You try and maybe make more space or whatever it is, but some things that he does is unthinkable.
Yeah, but Milner is a primarily defensive-minded player, and I think even football novices like us realize the stupidity of that substitution.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had Barcelona beating Spartak 3-0, and a special milestone was set then. What about that, Ani?
Yeah, Lionel Messi crossing 80 goals now for the calendar year, and just
absolutely fantastic.
Incredible. I was just reading a stat. AC Milan and Liverpool have both scored, I think, 76 goals for the calendar year, so he scored more than those two giant clubs.
You have one guy outscoring entire teams.
Yeah.
I mean, what is football coming to, am I right?
Yeah, and Lionel Messi, I mean, you can say a lot has been said about him, and you can continue to say him, but we just have to salute an incredible achievement. At the end of the day, no matter who you support, you have to recognize that he's a special player.
Exactly. I think he lets his game do the talking.
Yeah, that's definitely.
He's not flamboyant in any way.
Yeah.
He does what he needs to do.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
And of course, another English team struggling and leading to some very big happenings at the bridge. Juventus versus Chelsea. Aaron, what were your thoughts on that?
Oh, well, as you mentioned earlier in the show, Chelsea resting several players in the West Brom game, which spectacularly backfired on them.
Yeah.
Resulting to Chelsea playing with an almost full-strength lineup against Juventus.
Well, I don't know. Would you say Torres being dropped from the team is full strength or not full strength? It depends.
Well, I think it's controversial with Di Matteo going with somewhat of a 4-6-0 formation that we saw most recently Spain utilizing in the Euros.
Yeah.
But you have to realize that Chelsea are no Spain.
Yeah.
And I think while it would be easy to say that seeing as Juventus won 3-0 and Chelsea didn't score, it would be easy to say that, Di Matteo got it wrong, he should have had a striker on.
Yeah.
But I doubt Torres could have done much. I mean, his form hasn't exactly been, special in order for him to be playing, and I think Di Matteo is ruining the lack of transfer activity that he made, spending 85 million but not bringing in a striker.
True. And I think also
hard to believe.
I mean, Chelsea had a lot of possession actually. They had more possession than Juventus if you look at the statistics.
Yeah, but Juventus made their chances count.
Yeah,
and very, very, very professional. Andrea Pirlo had a great game.
Yeah, I agree. And Chelsea were just struggling to impact on the game, and they kept looking for a runner. They kept looking for a target person to aim at, and Hazard was there, but he was not able to run in the channels or do. And I don't know if Torres would have made an impact on the game, but I think to make such a big change in tactics and ask a team to perform it, completely play a new way for such a crunch game, again, question has to be asked. I mean, was it good timing or?
Yeah, and plus Juventus have a rather, physical team.
Yeah.
Lots of big guys there.
Yeah.
You got Chiellini, Arturo Vidal.
Yeah.
These are the big guys. And when you play, when you put out a team that has no striker, you have no one to aim for in the box.
Yeah.
So you'll have most likely an attacking midfielder making a run into the box
True.
against big defenders who are like 7-8 inches taller than you.
Yeah.
No chance.
Yeah.
He got the game plan completely wrong. And then, of course, we all know what happened after that, don't we, Annie?
Indeed, and this is something that we're going to discuss in depth now, this managerial merry-go-round as part of our special feature. And so your thoughts on the Di Matteo sacking, AK?
Well, Di Matteo getting the boot, I can't say I was surprised. I mean, Abramovich is a very dynamic owner.
Yeah.
He does what he thinks is best for this club,
Yeah.
which, of course, it is his club.
Yeah.
It's his money.
Yeah.
It's his choice. Some might say that, why is he sacking so many managers, one by one in quick succession? I think, as far as choices go, it's his choice. I mean, of course, it brings destability to the club, but I think Di Matteo is leading Chelsea in the wrong direction. I mean, they were on a horrific run of form.
Yeah.
And the players weren't clicking, and plus the whole race scandal with John Terry.
Yeah.
And I think sooner or later things would have boiled up like they did during Villas-Boas's regime as well.
Yeah.
So, a lot of problem there. And then, of course, Mark Hughes getting the boot as well yesterday.
Yeah, and that's, again, something very late. Just came in before the game against United at Old Trafford. And
It's very strange how they would sack him, like, midweek.
Yeah.
Not after the last result, midweek.
Yeah.
So, very odd time to sack. Because whoever comes in will probably be in charge for the United game. That's going to be, what, 1 day?
Yeah, I think
your
actually it was in talks with Harry Redknapp, surprise.
Indeed, they are.
But I don't think he's going to come in until next week because of, I think, giving it to the first team coach right now to handle the United game. But
probably.
I mean, it's the bigger question that we have to look at is, does short-termism work? Because obviously the conventional thing is, no, it doesn't work. You should stick with the manager for a long period of time. But question has to be asked, would Chelsea have won the Champions League if they stuck with Villas-Boas?
It's difficult to say. Of course, we can't predict the future.
Yeah.
I mean, but it didn't look like it. Villas-Boas had lost the trust of his players.
Exactly.
Morale was extremely low.
Yeah, and
His
remember,
tactics
they
weren't
sacked
working.
him after, was it the Napoli game, the first leg? And
Yes, the first Napoli game.
Yeah,
they
and
lost.
Di Matteo came in, they managed to get through that leg, and then, the rest is history.
Indeed, yes, but I think Villas-Boas had pretty much lost the dressing room.
Yeah.
And once you lose the trust and respect of your players, it's a steep downhill road from there.
So you could argue that it's a different case in Villas-Boas. But I mean, in terms of Chelsea as a whole, they've been sacking so many managers over the years, and they've won a Champions League. They've won, I think, 4 league titles since Abramovich has come in. They won FA Cups as well. So you have to ask. I mean, obviously people would be disappointed by the continuous managerial merry-go-round that's happening there, but in a sense it seems to be working for Chelsea. The players seem to be almost accepting it as the way of...
Well, that's the issue there. I think the fact that Chelsea are winning so many trophies isn't a testament to the management, it's a testament to the players. How they are able to, adapt quickly, and I wouldn't say gel exactly because, managers are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
But, the way the players are able to adapt short term, like when Di Matteo picked up after Villas-Boas, they ended up in the Champions League and the FA Cup that season. I think the players perked up, but now they're back to the same old grind.
Yeah, and of course now Rafa Benitez has come in, and what do you make of his appointment?
Well, controversial to say the least. I recently read a stat that Chelsea have lost 12,854 fans since Rafa Benitez has come back. Well, that shows what loyal fans they have.
Yeah, it's interesting watching Sky Sports News and a lot of Chelsea fans coming on saying they're going down the road to support Fulham. And how many fans of Fulham gamed as a result of this, I wonder. But Chelsea fans not wanting Benitez. They didn't want him in the summer when the long-term job was being they were looking at that, and they gave it to Di Matteo, and now they've gone for Benitez.
Yeah, and I think Benitez. I mean, it's obviously come as an interim manager, right? I mean, they're waiting for Guardiola. That's pretty obvious for anyone to see.
Yep.
And until then, I think Benitez could do a decent job with his team. Lest we not forget, Fernando Torres was in top form playing for Benitez.
That's true. I think that's something on Chelsea fans' minds. Can he get Torres to click?
If he gets Torres to perform, I mean, this could be a very, very dangerous team because it's extremely creative.
Yeah.
All Torres needs is a little bit of confidence, and he will be back to banging goals in before you know it.
True. And, moving on, we've got a special player salute this week for the most annoying footballer this week. AK, would you like to do it?
Indeed, I would. Luis Adriano, ladies and gentlemen, from Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar winning 5-2 against FC Nordjylland. I don't know if I got that right or not. But Luis Adriano, with the team trailing 1-0, Willian plays the ball back to the keeper, and then good old Luis robs it and then scores.
Yeah, from
real good respect
from
by
a
the way.
drop ball. I think this is a new low in football.
Yep. I think absolutely destroying any sportsmanship spirit there was. And the fact that after the game, his coach said that they won't discipline him because the coach said it was instinct. Come on, Lucescu, come on. Really?
And I just read today
this is the kind of scum you have playing for you?
He's apologized for it, and he said that he had his back turned to the action, so when the ball just dropped over his head, he thought, oh, here's a chance, and he went and scored. And he said he didn't realize.
Nice try, buddy. Nice try. We all know what's going on. Your team was 1-0 down. We all know what was going on.
Yeah, clear desperation, and UEFA have charged him with violating the principles of conduct, and interesting to see how that.
Good on them, scum like this.
Yeah.
They deserve to be charged. Of course, Shakhtar won the game 5-2 with Adriano scoring a hat-trick.
So maybe nice guys finish last and bad guys.
Yeah. Bad guys get that. All right, then. We got QPR in the weekend. Manager-less QPR, by the way.
Yeah.
So, what are your predictions for the game, man?
Well, actually, everyone's expecting us to sort of steamroller them at home and run up a cricket score. But I'm actually wondering that they sacked the manager, new manager is going to be coming in, players are going to be fighting for their positions. I expect a difficult game, and I'd say we'd win by 1 goal, maybe 1-0 or 2-0 at the max.
Well, that's a good point. I'd probably be a bit more optimistic and say United would probably win 3-1 or 4-1. I think United will score a lot.
Yeah.
But we will concede.
Yeah.
It pains me to say it, but we will. And I think the fact that QPR don't have a manager will, I think, negatively affect them.
Yeah.
Although you were right about players being worried about their roles.
Yeah.
But I think this is a team that's too disjointed, and it is
they're really struggling.
less than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
There's no team spirit here.
True.
3-1.
Lastly, a bit of promotion again, guys, as usual. Thanks for everyone who's been watching our videos, and please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.